Hello everyone, welcome back to your channel Known for Knowledge. And this video I'm going to make kind of lesson wise videos. So today I'm going to tell you about grade 10 first flight first lesson, that is a letter to God. So this lesson I'm going to explain you briefly, or in detail I'll be explaining about each and every concept. So a letter to God. This lesson I'm going to explain you all. Okay. First let's start. So I'll briefly explain the lesson. So first we'll start with the main reason. So this lesson is about a person, a farmer called as Lencho, and who has great faith in God. Faith is nothing but who actually praise God, who actually believes in God very much. So that is called as faith, and who has a great faith in God. And which now let us see in the story if that great faith has actually helped him, or is there even someone else behind the story who has actually helped the Lencho. And by the final conclusion, you have to understand whether Lencho is a person, whether he's what kind of person. You have to describe what his character traits about him. Okay, so let's start with the Lencho. Lencho was living in a kind of house which was very top hill. Lencho was actually living on the top of a hill, and his house was located on the top of a hill. And as his house was located on the top of a hill, so with that height he was able to see all the rivers flowing through the from the mountains, and all the crops he has sowed, and how all the crops that are there, that is all the corn crops that his corn crops he was able to see, and many more things. And so that was the location of Lencho. So if a question comes, where was Lencho? So I have to say he was living in a top of a hill. Then with that he was able to see all the rivers, all the cornfields, and etc. Okay, this is a simple answer for 30 to 40 words. Okay. Then from that time, actually Lencho was expecting for some rain to come, because his crops were in such a situation that they're in a little rain, so with that rain they'll grow fully, and he'll get a good harvest from that rain, and he could nicely sell them in the market, and he could get a good price also for that, and he could live a very happy and peaceful life. But what has actually happened? Now let us see into that. See, then Lencho already he predicts that rain was about to come, because by seeing the rain, by seeing the clouds, he was able to, by seeing the clouds forming over the mountains, he has actually identified that he had actually predicted that rain was about to fall. So what he has done, then after some time he saw that rain has eventually started to fall, and with that Lencho has described the big drops, the big raindrops which are falling from the sky as the 10 cents rupee, 10 cents, you can say 10 pies, means he compared that with the 10 paise rupees, and then with the 5 pesos he compared it with the then he compared the small drops of rain as a 5 pesos. He compared this because here the question will come, why he compared with the new coins, because he compared this because actually Lencho was expecting for a rain to come over his fields, because if rain falls over his fields, he would get a good return, he would get a good harvest. So with that if he could sell in the market, then he could get good money, and he could live a very happy and a peaceful life, and he could use that from money for his family. So Lencho was expecting for some rain to come, so that he would get a good harvest. That is the reason he compared the rain which was falling as 10 cents coins and 5 cents coins. Okay, then after that, after some time, eventually what happened is the rain actually turned into a big strong wind has started to blow over Lencho's fields. So first you have to understand, it was small rain which was falling, that is small raindrops which was falling from the sky, which were called as new coins. The second, after some time, a strong wind began to flow over his field, and it has actually covered the entire field, and hailstones started to come from the sky. Hailstones are nothing but you can say that the small kind of ice kind of particles which are falling from the sky, that was called as those are called as hailstones, and they started to come from the sky, and they have to, with that it was about for 1 hour that situation has happened, and with that Lencho's whole crop was totally destroyed, and there are no leaves on the trees, and as if it was looking, the field was completely covered with white. White is nothing but in the sense of it was completely covered with water that it was looking. The poet has described that field was completely covered with white, so that that means it means that covered with white. It was like a salt spread all over the places. Then hailstones and that has actually happened. All the crops were destroyed. His corn crop was destroyed, and there were no flowers to the plants. This all happened, and Lencho was very, very much depressed. He was expecting for a good return to come, and he was expecting for a good. He was expecting for the rain to come so that he would get good harvest from the corn crops, and he could live a very happy. But in return, this actually happened. Quite opposite. He was very much sad. His crops were destroyed, and he was very, very much sad. And he was full with sadness, and he said to his sons that a plague of locusts would have done much more, would have left much more than this would have actually. A plague of locusts means the spreading of insects. Usually that happens when this spreads insects, they'll damage the crops. So what happens is during some kind of season, all these insects from different places goes on. I think you must have seen in the news also. All the insects goes on into the fields and they are actually destroyed. So the poet compares that the kind of destruction which is caused by these insects, it would be much more less than the destruction which has been caused by the rain. So which has been caused by the hailstones. So that kind of. And Lencho felt very much sad. He has no one to actually help him, and in that idea he has, as I already told you, he has great faith in God. At that time he remembered his God, and he thought he has great faith in that, and he said to himself that God would always help those, and God would never see people dying of hunger, right? So God would always help us like farmers. He thought like that, and he started he felt like that. So next day what he did means he took a paper and pen, and Lencho was a kind of hardworking person. Means though he was a hardworking person, he works in the farm, he was literate, and he had written a letter to God. Means he know how to write a letter to God. He wrote a letter to God stating all his problems and stating that he need 100 pesos. Pesos are nothing but a kind of currency which is used in Latin America. Kind of 15 pesos, 100 pesos, that so that he would sow the seeds again in his farm and he would help his family. And so he took the letter, have written all the details and posted the post. And the post was actually taken by a postman, and he actually read the letter. He saw that it was written to God, and he gave it to his postmaster. And the postman felt like he has actually in his whole career he has actually never seen a kind of letter which is actually stated to God. So he gave that to the postmaster, and he said that he thought that he first left into laughter. And this postmaster was a kind of person who was very generous and kind person, who was very generous, amiable, that is a friendly person. Okay, then he saw the letter, and he saw that he saw Lencho's faith. Means Lencho had great faith in God. So to remove that faith from Lencho, so what the postmaster had done means he has actually so what he thought means he thought of writing just a letter to God that all the things he said like that he thought, right? But when he read the letter, he understood that just writing those kind of words would not be sufficient. Therefore he thought to do something else. Then he have collected all the money he actually raised a fund, and he collected some money from his friends, from colleagues, from friends, from family members, from employees, everywhere. And he also gave a part of his salary and collected some money, and he kept in that letter, and on that he signed it as God. So after that he has posted it on the letter, and he was feeling, actually postmaster was feeling a kind of very much satisfactory feeling. And after that Lencho has actually come to see if he had got any letters. So the postman gave the letter to Lencho, and he saw that, and when Lencho saw the letter, he was feeling with very, very much he was very angry by seeing the letter like this. He kept like wrinkled, means folded eyebrows, and he was feeling very much angry. He thought that I asked the God for about 100 pesos. So actually what has postmaster done means he actually collected all the money and he gave only about 70 pesos because he was not able to raise all the money which was all the money that is able, he was not able to raise 100 pesos. He raised only 70 pesos. So and he put the letter there. But when the postmaster saw that, Lynch saw that, he was very much angry. He thought that God would never do a mistake. How could he? God would never do the mistake. I have great faith in God. God would never do the mistake. I think the people at the post office have done this mistake. The employees in the post office have done the mistake. So what he thought, he wrote a letter again to God. He felt very much angry. Why there were only 70 pesos? I asked for 100 pesos, right? Why there were only 70 pesos? Like that. He wrote a letter to God stating that, God, please send me the rest of the piece. Please send me the rest of the money which I have asked for. There are only 100 pesos in the envelope. There were only 70 pesos in the envelope. Please send the remaining 30 pesos as well. He asked God. Then after that, he also mentioned that the letter that not to send the letter through the mail, because here the employees at the post office are a bunch of crooks, that is the dishonest people. Therefore, he described the people. So what? So this is a story. So what do you understand from the story? Is that class what happened? The postmaster was kind of very generous, and he made efforts to collect some money, and he thought to help help the farmer, that is Lencho. But in return, what the postmaster got, just a statement like a bunch of crooks. He got that he was a cheater, he was a dishonest person, right? All the people who have helped, they also got a statement. So what we can understand, that he had the great faith in God, means he was innocent, he was actually a stupid person, and he was, of course, he was very much hardworking, he was ungrateful, and he should understand that God will never help him. God will always help them who will help themselves, right? So you should understand that and you have to understand that situation, and he should at least instead of he should act okay. It's okay to be asking money, but you have to be grateful for the money which you have received, right? That is okay. Which I want to tell you all about this, and we all have understood this story, and I would like to end this story by this. So we must be very much grateful for the money which we have received, and we must always remember that God always helps those who help themselves. So what could the alternative Lencho might have done is, he could have at least opted for other job, right? He must have worked in other work also. He might have done a temporary job, so that with that he could at least earn, and he could save some money, so that next time when he of course with that money, next time by saving that money, he could again sow the fields and he would get a good harvest. So instead of putting everything to God, he should understand the situation, and he could based on that he could have done some he should thought if he could think properly, then that would have been a great story, right? So this is what I expect, and we will have enjoyed the story, and if you want anything, you can comment down. No, okay, then I'll be uploading.